even the ones that you have where the people can barely communicate, they're almost more disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched a couple today of homeless people.
Yeah.
Where, you know, there was this one woman, she was missing one of her toes, and you know that woman,
Yeah, yeah.
And she's just the movement and the mental health, the obvious signs that she's very troubled and probably on some drugs, and it's just.
Yeah.
Did you have children?
I do. I have 2 daughters, 19 and 22.
Yeah, so that to me was like the hearing the stories of how they were all abused sexually and physically when they were children, and seeing what it leads to.
Right. So I'm aware that these things go on.
Yeah.
I've been down on Skid Row for 12 years now, maybe 13 years. And so I know what's going on.
Do you live down there?
No. I live in Pacific Palisades, which is like the exact opposite.
Yes.
I live in Bel Air basically, but then I go down to the worst. I go from the worst part of town to the best part of town. Yeah, it's a drastic change from one to the other. But even when I was doing this before I started Software Underbelly, I was aware that this crap is going on to these people when they were kids.
Yeah.
And when I decided, I gave up advertising and wanted to do something that was meaningful to me, I looked around like, that's a problem that needs to be addressed. And, people say, oh, your work's exploitive. You're exploiting these poor drug addicts. Like, I understand there's an exploitive element to it. All photography has that, element to it. But let's say I never did these videos. Let's say we just pretend these problems don't exist. It's all going to continue. And Caroline's kids are going to get molested by the babysitter or by the uncle or by whoever, and it'll repeat the pattern over and over and over. So I figured by putting out these, it's disguised as entertainment, but what it really is if you watch a dozen of them, you're going to learn, like, fuck, we need to protect our kids. We need to watch our kids. We need to, how many fathers were absent in these kids' lives that I do? Like 1% of them had fathers that were in their lives.
Right.
Like, where are the dads? What are they doing that's so important that they can't raise their own kid?
Well, they're probably fucked up too, which is
that's where it goes.
It's never-ending cycle.
It's generation. It's cycle after cycle.
Have you interviewed anyone and then come back years later and they straighten their life out?
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah? Who?
I've done 5,000,
right?
And it's literally like 4 that I know of.
And what has that been like? Like, can you give me an
example? And even though they've done it, doesn't mean they didn't break down and relapse tomorrow. Today.
Right.
That happens all the time. So just as they got clean doesn't mean they're going to stay clean. But the ones that I believe in the most, because some people told me they were clean, but I don't buy it. But the ones that I know are clean, they just did it by themselves. They just hold themselves up, and they figured out a way to wean themselves and change their routine and change their environment, and eventually broke through. But I think you need that self-worth. Like you and I have the self-worth to go, I deserve better. I deserve to drive a nice car. I deserve to live in a great house in a great city and have a great job. And I deserve all these things and have a great woman in my life and all these things. If you have the self-worth, you're going to accept and build those things in your life. These people, especially the ones on Skid Row, the drug addicts, their self-worth is broken. It's broken. And they don't believe they deserve anything better than to live in a cardboard box or a tent on the sidewalk, in the rain, in the winter. And they're doing the drug just to escape the pain of what happened to them when they were 7 years old with their dad or uncle or brother or whoever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't fix a childhood. How do you fix a childhood?
When you see a place like Skid Row and you see all these people that you've interviewed, do you try to formulate some way that these people can be helped? Like that we can diminish this problem?
Well, no, when I first really got serious, like 3.5 years ago, was when I started really I was down there every day doing eight interviews a day. I would see somebody who was like, oh my God, your life would be great if you just got clean. I was naive. Right. I was naive. And I started helping them and like, we're going to get you to rehab. And, I spent so much money. Like I've wasted so much money, my own hard-earned money. I just like put towards somebody that had no intention of really ever doing anything.
Well, it seems like it has to come from the individual. It can't
It has
come
to.
from...
That's what I've learned.
You can't help people by saying, hey, you
No,
got to
I-
do this.
No, I see all these comments on my videos. Mark, you didn't help this person? I can't change their self-worth.
You'd have to be with them 24 hours
You'd
a
have to
day.
be with them 24 hours a day. You'd have to be spending easy $150,000 at least a year to house them, to feed them, to transport them, to get them therapy, to all the drugs, all the mental health drugs, all the everything they're going to need, doctors, all that stuff. It's a lot of money for one person, and it may not even work.
Right.
So I got 2 kids of my own. I got my own life. I got bills of my own. I'm doing a YouTube channel and I'm shooting 8 videos a day. Like, when am I going to sit there and take somebody under my wing and save them?
Right.
These people are on their phones, on their sofa, texting, leaving a comment saying, Mark, you didn't help this person? I'm the busiest person I know. I haven't taken a day off in over 3 years. Christmas, birthday, everything. I work every single day, either shooting or editing. And these people are sitting on their phones telling me what to do. They can't get off their ass and maybe, clear out their bank account to save somebody.
But even that probably wouldn't do it.
And still wouldn't work.
What do you think could be done?
Well, I mean, it's such a complicated problem. You look at homeless. You have the homelessness problem. You have it a little bit here in Austin, but in L.A. it's really bad.
Let's explain Skid Row to people.
Skid Row is a neighborhood. It's probably, I don't know how many square blocks, but maybe it goes from like roughly, because it spreads out a lot, and it's spread out since I've been there. But let's call it like from 4th or 5th Street to 8th Street. This is just east of downtown L.A. And downtown L.A. is cool. It's nice. But just east of downtown is... Oh, no, I know. But it looks like Austin, basically.
I wouldn't recommend people visit.
No, you wouldn't
It's
want
not a place.
No, you wouldn't
if
go
you
to
want to go to L.A., you don't go to... every other town, you go downtown.
Right. Every other... I'm from Chicago.
I was going to say Chicago.
You spend the whole time...
downtown.
When you go to
it's
visit
nice.
Chicago, you spend the whole time downtown.
Yeah.
In L.A., you should not go downtown if you're
that's what I'm
visiting.
saying.
That's exactly right. But Skid Row is this neighborhood just east of downtown. That is the...
Yeah, Jamie's got an image of it.
Yeah, there it is. So
let's find some photos of it, because it's kind of an enormous swath of land that's been completely abandoned. It seems like.
But like this girl smoking right here?
Yeah.
That goes on every block. The cops will roll by. Nobody's stopping her.
She's smoking meth.
She's smoking
Something.
meth or crack or whatever. Fentanyl.